during the time of the Dr. York, you was involved in that situation. You was a student.
Yeah.
What came to your mind when you found out about the charges that was brought about him? Because I know you was probably one of these students at that time.
I had left Atlanta. I helped run. I helped run up one of the stores. So again, like I wasn't a casual. This is a Holy Tabernacle tattoo.
Now I never
that's
heard
25
that
years old.
part.
Right. So just for people that say like, because you know people like to inflate that everybody in jail was a kingpin. Nobody was on the corner, right? Right. You know what I mean? Like, so I'm just saying like I wasn't a disciple, but I wasn't a casual. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So I ran MLK bookstore. There's 2 MLK bookstores. I helped run along with a bunch of folk ran MLK bookstore. The one off Ashby, the one right across the street from Philly's Finest Barbershop, and then I ended up helping start another one. I studied at Edgewood, the store that was on Edgewood Avenue. Before I got there, I was in Philly with Sajjad and them at 52nd and Thompson Street. I used to go to the masjid there when Musa was there as the imam. So just the context. When I left, I had suspicions. I had seen things with my own eyes. So again, I know the latter day people. I seen these dudes on the internet, half of them look white to me, but I see these dudes on the internet talking about it's not true. They got proof. They got evidence. You can't prove that something didn't happen to people who were there. I was a teenager. I moved in as a teenager. You know what I mean? I was an older teenager, but I was a teenager. I wasn't like 13, which would have probably put me in harm's way, quite honestly. Actually, let me not say that, because it seemed to me that he progressed. His pathology progressed over time. Anyway, but I'll say this to answer your question, Sanetta. When I found out, I wasn't a little bit shocked. I was not a little bit shocked. I remember being on the land that they called, we called it Kadesh. It eventually became called Wahani, and then it became called Tamaray. Yeah. But again, the latter day Nuwaupians don't even know we called it. When it started, it was called Kadesh. In fact, I was the driver I was Dr. York's, I was the chauffeur, not of Dr. York, but of all the people going from Atlanta to the land. So I would drive back from Atlanta, from West End to Eatonton, sometimes 3 or 4 times a day. Which anybody know that's like driving from Philly to New York 3 times a day. Wow. Right. Not quite that long, but the same mileage. Anyway, and I remember the last time I was on the land, I had stayed up there for a few days. I was staying up there in one of the trailers. One of the rappers from the Grave Diggers was there. He died. He eventually died. And I remember walking into Club Ramesses, which was the club he had built up there. And I remember walking in, and I wasn't supposed to walk in apparently, but they told me I was going for a walk. But I walked in, and there were kids there. Some had skates on because they were kind of skating around Ramesses. The kids were like sitting. 2 were like sitting on his lap. I'll say this. As soon as I opened the door, somebody said, "You can't be in here." And I turned around and left. It was one of them, don't be in here, like on some like, I know what type of time it
felt really uncomfortable is what you're saying.
It was an energy thing too. Right. I had already heard things and seen things, but my understanding at that moment was that it was with other people's wives, other people's maybe young teenage girls. I knew that for fact.
Now, was you in there by yourself, or you was in there with family, other members?
No, I was solo. Oh, I was solo. Okay. I was solo, and I had worked my way kind of up the not the ranks, but I was definitely trying. The goal of anybody who lived in Georgia was to move to the land. That was you wanted to live in that barn. You wanted to give up all your shit and go to the, but that was the goal. It was just crazy now, but that was the goal. So and I was teaching. I was teaching classes. I was doing this. I was teaching Nuwaupic. Wow. You know what I mean? Wow. I was doing all the things that you're supposed to do. I'm gonna see if I got just because again, it's one of them things where some people will be like, nah, that didn't happen, or he capping like it wasn't. It wasn't as much as he is suggesting. I did what I'm gonna show you. This is bug you out. But in Nuwaupic, by the way, which is not a real language, was a very different language when it started. It was so not ancient that when we
it was so not ancient
that I remember, because and as someone who speaks Arabic fluently, I can tell you that initially it was just jacked up Arabic. right? And I'm trying to see. Let me see. So like, if you peep it here, and I don't want to take up too much time with this, but this is just to give you the context of us in the last days, and you see how young I am here, right? This is me speaking the original Nuwaupian.
That's it.
What?
By the way, you should know this is a digital version of a VHS.
VHS. So this is like old school VHS.
That's a VHS tape. Can you see us?
Yeah, but you can confirm with your eyes.
No.
You know what? Somebody gave this to me and they told me not to. I can't do that. I can't.
Oh, okay.
But I need you. But you can verify that you've seen this, right?
Yes.
Right. But I
Wow.
And this is, I'm gonna show you one more real quick. And this is just to let you get a sense of how far this thing goes. Cause again, and I'll get back to the point. But again, it's context, right? Mm-hmm. Because I think again, without the context, people don't understand the traditions that we come out of. Right? Check this one out. This was the actual, that's back when I had a lot more hair. This is in Arabic, right? I used to teach language.
Yes, it's very clear that the other people around are either backing you up or learning.
Right, and this is with the Jalabiya.
Yes.
This is Ansari Ataris. Right?
Wow.
So this is how far back it goes. So when all that to say, when I saw the children who were my friends, they were my young boys, as we say, right? Those are my young boys, right? Because I was an older 17. Imagine me being 17 or 18 or 19, and you got the 12-year-olds, 13 or 14-year-olds who are telling me, yo, I'm scared to go in Baba's house.
Wow.
Yo, I saw what he did to my sister. Now, et cetera, right? When you hear this shit, this stuff, excuse me, like you don't know how to make sense of it. You know what I mean?
Especially at 17.
Yeah, and I come out of a no snitching tradition. Even now, I don't know. I probably wouldn't go to the police, even though I probably should. But my instinct, actually, my instinct was I didn't know what to do. Right. And remember, this is everything from El Mujaddid, the reformer, to God in person, to not the Mahdi, but like to the descendant of Mahdi, to all the different beings that come out of.
That's right.
All of it, right?
Right.
So, what do you do with that?
Yeah.
It's a crisis. It was a crisis for me. It was philosophical crisis, emotional crisis, spiritual crisis. Trying to figure out.
What did you do?
I left.
You left. Yeah.
I left.
Yeah.
I left, and people gonna be like, "Why'd you leave?" I left because I didn't know what else to do.
Yeah, it was too much information, too much, just overwhelming and depressing, and
exactly. It was too much. So then, when I left, the people from Atlanta who I fell out with, because I left, I fell out with Pops initially because I asked him a question on one of the Sunday lessons we would drive to Atlanta. I asked him a question when he published this newsletter that was saying that now he was a descendant of, I believe it was David York, and that he was Native American. This is when we were doing. He had put out a book called "Man of the Hour," and mind you, it's been. Y'all gotta understand. So y'all could fact check me, Nuwaupians. I might be wrong about some specifics, but it's been 25 years. Right. Some of y'all weren't born when I was doing, including Prince. I wasn't born when I was doing this stuff. But he would come out with this tradition. So it's like, wait, how can this be your grandfather, and you also be a descendant of Muhammad Ahmed al-Mahdi, right? They can't both be true on the same side. And then the stories have developed, and this was a lie, and this was a secret thing, and this was adopted, and I'm actually from Ghana, or I'm from Liberia, and the stories change. But fundamentally, I asked a very simple question, and Pops basically turned the crowd on me. You know what I mean? He was like, why can't y'all just trust me this time? This is a man that says, ask me anything. But when I asked him a question that was clearly a lie, the story got flipped. Mind you, he says, ask me anything, but in what context? He wasn't on 125th Street debating. Right. He wasn't at the Clothespin Atlanta debating. Right. He brought people on his terms. And then you could ask a single question, and then he would bring the question back to the thing he wanted to say, whether or not he was actually answering it or not. You know what I mean? And so we took things as articles of faith that were not. Has anybody ever heard Dr. York speak Arabic? Honestly, God question. No. Has anyone ever actually they've heard him quote a surah from the Quran? It's usually the same suwar right? Same chapters. It's usually Surah Al-Baqarah, Surah Al-Fatiha, Surah Al-Nasr. You can hear it's 3 or 4 of them. And even the mistakes he makes in pronunciation are non-native mistakes. They're not mistakes that native speakers make, right? And of course he's not a native speaker, right? At one moment he said he had to learn his Arabic at State Street Masjid with Sheikh Dawood. Another time he said he had it at birth. Another time he said he got it at Azhar University and University of Khartoum in Sudan, none of which have any records of him learning or speaking it. Different times, different dates, different years, different degrees, no evidence of him speaking, and yet he's never had a conversation in Arabic. The kids did what we call the Mu'minun, they spoke Arabic. They never spoke with him. It's just a fascinating thing. I will give right now $10,000 cash to anybody that can show me a conversation Dr. York has in Arabic. Not a quote of the Quran, not a repeat of something someone said, but an actual $10,000. First person that can show me that.
That's a lot of bread.
I feel like my money is quite safe.
A lot of bread.
My money is quite safe. It don't exist.
Oh man.
But Sanada, that was part of the issue.
Right.
Because when when I left Philly, partly because of what I saw, other people were like, yo, this stuff is plagiarized. And they started showing me the places it was taken from.
Yeah.
We started putting pieces together.
So let me ask you. So when you see him in court and he accept the charges, brother, he admit to the charges. How does one man, what he got, 100 and how many years?
Yeah, he don't get up to 21.
How do you cop out or say, yes, I'm guilty of 121 years? That's like you might as well go to trial.
Now, in fairness, he copped out when he was pleading. When he's pleading.
He was pleading what?
He was pleading for the 30 or whatever, or the whatever. He played out, the judge didn't accept the plea.
Okay.
And so then he withdrew his confession. And so, you know what, I actually didn't do that. I don't know anybody who pleads out to molesting kids.
Yeah.
Or, because they're going to get the technicality thing, it actually wasn't a molestation charge, it was a federal charge of
interstate trafficking.
Of interstate trafficking. But that's a technicality because they didn't have a federal molestation charge. It's for this law.
That's what it's used for.
That's what it's used for.
Yeah.
It's exactly what it's used for. But
yeah.
He did it because he wanted to come home again, and he knew it was the best bet to come home.
At some point,
we know time is running out.
Yeah.
So let's move forward.
So let's just
one more question. But
we can also come back and talk. And any Nuwaupian want to build me on this particular issue.
I'm gonna get Prince York for you.
You sure that's a good idea?
He want Prince York.
Prince York won't do this. I promise you he won't.
It was difficult for me,
right?
And I wasn't there. I was just reading stuff.
Well, it works out because he wasn't either. So, and that's no disrespect to Prince. I don't have no issue with Prince York.
He's too young.
He's just too young to have been there. He was alive when Pops was arrested.
Right.
But he wasn't around.
Right.
He wasn't around in 97 when we were making moves. He wasn't around in 96 when we were. I built them, what we call at the time, the Maguraj, and it became Mugaraj. As Dr. York learned the proper pronunciations, he would then change it and then tell us.
Let's move forward.
I'm sorry.
What I don't understand is, why do people come at Dr. York so much when it seems like to me when I read his information and I hear what everybody else saying, it's like they repeating the same thing.
Because he's
and then even his hold on, just want to say, but even his information be even way more, you know what I'm saying, deeper. So I just don't understand what's the real beef like, you know what I'm saying?
Well, brother, his information is outdated right now. And there's nobody in the Nuwaupian nation stepping up and putting out and updating the information. Number two, Dr. York got up there and said that he did it. People have a right to critique it. People have a right to criticize it and see what's going on. You know what I'm saying? People have that right.
Well,
like, I don't know what's going on. Peace and Black Power family. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Peace, my brother. This is Brother Kansu calling from Tulsa, Oklahoma.
What's going on, my brother?
Peace. I just now caught the butt end of this, but correct me if I'm wrong. Was this Brother Jabari speaking on Dr. York's case?
No, it's Lamont. Lamont Hill will be speaking on Dr. York. I ain't play it yet. It's coming up.
Oh, okay. Well, peace, my brother. Well, I just want to say I appreciate everything you're doing. And last time I was on your show, I don't know if you remember, Brother Jeremiah Judah got me on the Lion's Den.
Okay.
And I was basically promoting our new book, Lightning from the East, which is the new autobiography on Dr. Malachi York. And I just want to say that anybody out there who may want to sit down and have a discussion about Dr. York's case. We have people right now that's currently working on Dr. York's legal team.
Oh, so let me ask you, are you a supporter of Dr. York?
Yes, sir. I'm a supporter of Dr. York.
Oh,
and
shit. Let me get your number then, because that's what Mark Lamont Hill is looking for. He's looking for anybody who's a supporter of Dr. York, because he want to come in and give him that smoke. How long have you been a supporter of Dr. York? I mean, how long have you been a member? Are you a member?
I'm not a member of this current organization. You know, it's been, you know, certain things have changed over the years since his incarceration. I've been studying his legal case right now for the past about going on 10 years. And it's been a kind of a resurgence of the information from his case, because there's been so many sabotages to his case over the years. And so we even have some new discoveries from his case on some things that's happening right now. And all this stuff is detailed in a book called Lightning from the East. You can find that on Amazon.
So you don't believe in none of the stories that Dr. York was molesting boys or none of that? You don't believe in none of that?
No, as a person who have studied the case files and who have the case files, the transcripts to the case, there's no information, there's no evidence, any physical evidence.
You, brother, I don't know how you're going to be able to defend that against a brother who been on land for years, who was the driver of Dr. York.
I remember.
So I don't know how you're going to be able to defend that against him. He's been there.